Phoenix 911. Where's your emergency?
Let's say somebody's having a mental health crisis.
It's okay. We're going to send an officer on the way right away, okay?
They've never had a mental health crisis before, and they don't know who to call. They're probably going to call 911, and then the dispatcher might be the first person to ever help them.
Detective Sabrina Taylor is a crisis intervention team training coordinator for Phoenix Police. She says 911 dispatchers are ready and able to field most any kind of call. That's their training. But mental illness calls are just different.
It feels like a lot. These calls are generally more complicated and take more time than other calls. Because if you think of a person that's not having any kind of mental issues, you could just rattle off name, date, social security number. But somebody who's struggling with thought process, it's going to take a long time to get to what the real problem is.
And it is the dispatcher's job to get to the bottom of that problem and get help for that problem accordingly. So they receive training to identify types of mental illness, assess threat levels, utilize negotiation tactics, and know where to appropriately direct these callers for help.
At first they were like, if you call 911, like, I'm responsible, and who am I transferring this to? And once we built up that trust, they were like, oh, thank goodness, there's somewhere I can send people, because I know they don't need the police, but I don't know what else to do.
The goal is to avoid further upsetting a distressed caller, finding appropriate behavioral health services, which has the added benefit of reducing both the criminalization and stigma around mental illness.
If they're just feeling sad, and they're not at super high risk of being injured, they don't really need the police department. There's no crime, there's no danger, so they can transfer that person right over to the crisis line.
The community can help dispatchers by getting informed about these resources. If you or a loved one are experiencing a mental health crisis, call the county crisis line at 602-222-9444. If you do call 911, ask for a crisis intervention team certified officer. That's a police officer that has received additional training in dealing with mental health calls.